Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we will be discussing about one aircraft that has broke the physics and what we call that aircraft as a Blackbird or SR-71. This was the American aircraft that was built by the Lockheed Martin, and it was the engineering brilliance. Okay, why I'm talking like that is because we're gonna find out why I'm saying that it was the engineering marvel. Okay, so there are aircrafts, and then we have a SR-71, right, which was so advanced, which was so ahead of its time that even after 60 years we have not built anything like that. It was that advanced, it was that goated aircraft. Okay, what make SR-71 so special, or first of all, what makes any aircraft so special? Its engine. The heart of any aircraft or the heart of any airplane lies in their engine. If the engine of the aircraft or if the engine of airplane is powerful, then that means the whole aircraft is going to be powerful. Okay, the engine that was used in this SR-71 Blackbird was so advanced, was so unique, and it was so innovative that that first of all, before I tell you what kind of engine SR-71 was having, first let me tell you what others fighter jets or what other um, super aircrafts were using at that time. So we had a jet engines that was like the best engines of that time. Basically jet engines we are using even today. Jet engines have been proven to be very efficient, to be very powerful, and to be very reliable. That's what the jet engines. But SR-71 was using, for the first time it was using the hybrid turbo-ramjet engines. How does this engine makes a difference? Is because when SR-71 is on the lower speed, first of all first of all okay first of all, there are Mach numbers that has been categorized. Like if your aircraft is flying below 1 or 1.2 or something like that. Suppose let's take, if your aircraft is flying at the max speed 1, it is called sonic, or basically it is called subsonic aircrafts. If it is flying above 1, it is called supersonic. If your aircraft is able to fly over 3, it is called hypersonic aircrafts, right? And that SR-71 was exactly doing that. SR-71 was able to fly over Mach number 3, which was possible because of its design, because of its engines, and because of the innovation that was done while making this aircraft. Okay, why I'm saying that, let's talk about the engine. So as I mentioned, it was using for the first time hybrid turbo ramjet engines. What makes this engine difference is because it provides so when SR-71 is flying below the Mach number 1, it is using the normal ramjet engines. Once it flies at the like Mach number 2.5 or more than 2, so what it does is it uses the shock waves, it uses the basically it uses the air to generate more speed. Okay, first of all, any aircraft flies using the Bernoulli principle, right? So the differences of pressure provides the lift, and lift is the one thing that gives your aircraft or airplane, basically helps in flying your aircraft. This is how the lift are generated in airplanes. But at the higher speed, your Bernoulli principle does not work. Your aircraft is able to fly at the higher speed because of the compressible flows and because of the shock waves. The amount of or the amount of control you are having over the vortices at the high speed and the amount of you are having control over the shock waves will determine how efficient your airplane is going to be at the higher Mach numbers. And this is what make SR-71 so magnificent. is because the way it was designed, it was using a chins kind of design, which is basically, if you see the SR-71, it is having a very sharp edge over the outer layer, right? This it was helping in controlling the vortices. It was helping in controlling the vortices that was getting generated while the SR-71 flying at the Mach number 3. Or people have, and it has been classified that people have reported that it was able to fly even more than Mach number 3. That was possible only because of its design and because of the kind of engine it was using. Okay, so this was about the engines and the design, and why that SR-71 was so brilliant, why it was so advanced, that even after 60 years we cannot build anything like that. It was that goated. You know what? One interesting story about SR-71. SR-71 is made up of titanium, right? At that time when US and that Soviet was beefing and they were having a war and all that, that political issues they were having, at that time US did not had any titanium. They were sort of titanium. So what they did is they actually took the titanium from the Soviets. They took the titanium from the Soviets and they utilized that titanium to build that SR-71. Okay, one more cool property of SR-71. Traditional aircraft, what it does is, if it is flying at the Mach number 3, there are so many things happening when your aircraft is flying at the Mach number 3. One of the thing is your aircraft will literally start producing the heat. And once, if your aircraft is producing the heat, it is going to affect your aircraft in so many ways. It is definitely going to affect your aircraft in so many ways, but not with the SR-71. That engineers of that time was so sharp, was like, those guys are literally doing their job, right? So now when SR-71 was flying at the Mach number 3, it was generating the heat over their whole body. But this heat actually, heat was helping the SR-71 to go even faster. That sounds very crazy. How can a property that basically destroys the aircraft is actually helping the aircraft to fly faster? It is because of the material that was used, and it is because of the way it was made. What I mean is, when heat was getting generated over the SR-71, that heat was affecting the aircraft. So what happens in the aircraft is, its diameter or its body gets elongated by 10 meter or something. I think 10 centimeter or something. Now when it increases, it gives more stability, it gives more control over the vortices and controlling the shock waves, which basically increase the speed of the SR-71. So think about this. Those engineers were so crazy, they did all these calculations when they did not had any CAD software, when they did not had any simulations or anything like that, and they built an aircraft like SR-71. Think about this. This is one again more this, that was a one more cool property of SR-71. Okay, now let me just tell you one best quality of SR-71, right? Literally SR-7, or I should say SR-71 was so goated, was so advanced, like, it was so advanced that what people say is, if you are beefing with the US, and if US is using SR-71 to control or to have a control on the SR-71, if you are firing a missile, or if you're using any kind of weapon to track down this SR-71, it is not possible. Because to track down or to defeat SR-71, you need a speed. There is no other weapon which you can use to control the SR-71. You just need a weapon that should have a speed like SR-71. That's the only way. So So suppose if you are having a radar system, or if you are having any missile or anything, and you are trying to use it to detect SR-71 or to destroy SR-71, you cannot do that, because your missile cannot have that much speed as SR-71 having. So basically it is that good. SR-71 is like a bully which goes to the hood, it beat down the guy, and it comes back doing all that notorious things, and it knows it will go away because without any consequences, because it is so goated. That's what SR-71 was. So there is so many things that I want to discuss, but I'm just concerned people don't watch long videos, so I'm just gonna end the video here. But there are so many things that I wanted to discuss, but because of this time issue and the people don't watch longer videos, so I'm just going to end the video here. If you enjoy the video, please subscribe the channel, please like the video, and yeah, stay blessed. Bye bye. Bye bye.